I just returned from vacation, and normally I will bring a book to read. I try to avoid business leadership books because then, it gives me thoughts about work and what have you. But this time I decided that I would actually go along with one. And I had kind of heard of this book, and some people had been talking about it, and I had it in my resource library, if you will. And it is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is a must read. And I think it's over 10 million have been sold. And so obviously a lot of people have read it. And listen, you need to be one of them. I've read it. I read it on my vacation. I thought it was thorough, fantastic. And I want to give credit to where credit is due. And I actually want to draw from some of his ideas and maybe put a few of my own in there as well. But we're hearing a lot about habit formation and systems. And one of the things that he says in the book is that you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. I want you to think about that for a moment. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You actually fall to the levels of your system. And what is undergirding systems is habits. And so whether you have systems or not that have been put in place intentionally, they're actually there because everybody has habits. Whether you look at them, whether you consider them as a different story, but we all do things out of routine. One of the things he encourages us to do in the book is he says, think about the things you're doing, why you're doing them, how you're doing them, what kind of results are they providing for you. So let me talk to you a little bit today about starting a new habit. He mentions this in the book, and it is a practice called implementation intention. Really what it means is, what are we going to be intentional and purposeful about when we are creating habits that ultimately will create systems, that ultimately will create success? As a matter of fact, in the book, he actually states that he believes that even people that don't have goals and objectives can actually achieve them because they have good habits, which create good systems, which then deliver results. I don't know what you think about that. And by the way, he wasn't anti-objectives or targets or goals. He's just saying, I don't think that's the route to go, because he says they're momentary versus habits, which are life-changing and are formational. So what's involved in implementation intention? One of the things he talks about is time and location. So it's not good enough to just say, I want to lose weight, or I want to go to the gym, or I want to join a club. What he is saying is you need to say to yourself specifically, tomorrow at 7 a.m., I will go to such and such a gym. And as you build on that, you may actually say, this is the workout that I will have. Maybe I'm going to work on chest or arms or whatever it may be. But he talks about actually talking about the location, talking about being specific on the time, and being specific on what you're going to do. The statistics are in the book that he says people that actually do this versus a just wishful thinking, well, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym, or I hope I do this, or I really want to get in shape. He says you're setting yourself up for failure. So the key is to be specific with time and with location. This makes a huge difference. Let me give you a quote from the book. He says, many people think they lack motivation, but what they really lack is clarity. End of quote. Many people think they lack motivation, but what they really lack is clarity. We've heard a lot about this, that if you're not motivated, as long as you are consistent, you will do well. What James is saying here is, no, what you actually require is clarity on what you want to do, when you want to do it, and how often. Frequency is a critical part of that as well. So he says, be strategic in what you want to accomplish. Be absolutely specific. The more specific you are, the greater the habit formation, and perhaps even easier for the habit to become an actual system for you. He says that it really is not focused on how many times you do something. Like we've heard that habits are created within 21 days. He says, rather than thinking on those terms, think about frequency. How many times is this habit occurring over and over and over so that it becomes part of your regular daily routine. He also talks about, remember, we are talking here about implementation intention. He talks about habit stacking. So what is habit stacking? He says you add a habit to something you're already doing, something that is already in place, positive or negative, add another habit to it. So now you're accomplishing multiple things at the same time. And then finally, he says, in our being specific, our habit and our action needs to be immediate and actionable. As a matter of fact, he says, if you can create habits within 2 minutes, 2 minutes of accomplishing something, your success rate will go way up. So if we're going to start a new habit that will hopefully turn into systems, that will turn into results and success, whether you think so or not, you'll actually achieve your objectives and your goals. This is a phenomenal book. Buy it, read it. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today.